Hey Shooby Doodlers, how are you doing? This is an old sketchbook of mine from 2017. We went to New York. This is a sketch of the Guggenheim Museum. These are all sort of done live. This is the queue, the exit queue at the top of the Rockefeller building. Everybody just queuing up, lining up to get the lift back down again, but all on their phones. This is Grand Central Station. These fantastic windows, the light coming in. This is at the World Trade Center. This great big pool. If you've been there, you know about it. And this is the Oculus at the World Trade Center, which is a great transport hub. I think there's 12 subway lines coming in, something like that. And there's lots and lots of people. They were building it at the time. This was a security guard there, looking very bored, just sat there all day long. This is walking the High Line in Chelsea. That was a lovely day doing that. We took a bus to Boston, and this was all the stuff I saw on the freeway on the way, all these signs and stuff. And we were going to a wedding. I had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. But this is what I wanted to show you. I want a new design for this channel, and I thought this would be quite good. But it doesn't work as it is. So I think I need to work it up into something. So how do you work up a drawing from a sketchbook? I've started out by printing it out. It's slightly larger. And I'm going to adapt this to work for the image that I want. And I'm going to get a layout pad and stick that in there so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to start by just sort of working these lines and try and get them a bit more, sort of accurate, straight. When you're leaning over a balcony in a great big railway terminus like the Oculus, then you just get on with it. I think that's the secret about sketching, is you just need to get on with it and draw it and not worry about it. Sketching is all about being there in the moment and capturing that moment, which you can then, when you come back to the studio or wherever it is you work, then you can refine the image into a design that's going to suit what it is you're trying to do. So these two here are really the kind of the main characters. Is he taking a photograph of her? It looks like he's taking a selfie. I think he's meant to be taking a photograph of her. So I want them to be kind of right in the middle. But also I'm going to want some sort of text across the middle like that. So I don't want anything important there. So I'm going to move them up like that. And then I can... Oh, that's a tiny pencil. Hold me closer, tiny pencil, as Elton John might say. And basically, I've got all the movement and everything here, and I don't want to be too perfect. Things have moved on, haven't we? So we can put kind of more camera lenses in there than there probably were in 2017. And so I've sort of got these attitudes. And also, I've got all the perspective, so this is very much looking down, so it is quite foreshortened. And that's going to be there, and then we'll see that coming behind there. I'm going to move her up slightly, I think. So you see how we can sort of adapt. This is what we're doing, really, isn't it? And she's got her hands down here, so she's not feeling comfortable, is she? You can see this sort of this pose that she's got. She doesn't look terribly happy. But I can make her happy and give her a bit of a smile. And her hair is sort of coming down like that. And it's all about sketching, isn't it? It's all about sketching it out. Why am I doing a new header for this channel? Well, I've been neglecting it really a bit recently. I don't know, something happened. Various things happened, really, but we won't go into that. and I quite like this lady who's sort of just watching here. Could be their mum or something, couldn't it? Somebody who's with them. I don't know, I've kind of lost my way with this channel, really. And I've been kind of looking at it recently with a fresh eye. And trying to be fresh anyway, trying to kind of be very critical. And there's a lot of, I don't know. It all kind of went a bit pear-shaped at one point. when I look at all the statistics, what's interesting is that all the videos that people like most are about drawing. Surprise, surprise. And I don't know, I sort of got distracted and started doing all these creative advice videos, which I think that's okay. That kind of goes with it. I don't know, he's looking up because the roof of the Oculus is extraordinary. It's like being inside the belly of a whale. Really, there's this huge sort of white structural open structure that but the light pours in and you can see it's like a cathedral to locomotion or something like that. It is quite amazing. So anybody walking along who looks up will go, whoa. So this is this guy here, lady, and she's got a handbag. I don't know. What was I saying? So I've been looking at I think she's got a coat sort of slung over her shoulders. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, whoever, going to be a bit like that. So, surprise, surprise, all the videos that people like to watch the most are about drawing. And I've got slightly kind of off target with that, haven't I, recently? So the thing to do is to try and get back on target and start doing more drawing videos. And I can hear you going, yay, at last. So the part of that is then to kind of smarten up the whole channel and kind of refocus it. I think one of the big problems that I've had is that, I've had this great long career as a children's author and illustrator. And, well, things kind of, I think it was COVID. COVID has been a pain for everybody, hasn't it, really? And I think it's had sort of long-lasting effects. I think this is an old lady. This is a walker, isn't it? I was just about to turn this into a pushchair with a kid in it, but no, I think this is like an older person's walker or a disabled person's walker. I think I need to take that down a bit more again, have the wheel about like that. Yeah. So I was saying I'm a children's author and illustrator, but COVID has slightly changed all that because I stopped going to schools and I sort of, I'm now a granddad, which is fantastic, but I wasn't getting any kind of contact with children anymore. I just kind of wasn't going to schools and just somehow kind of, I don't know. And I've been writing and illustrating children's books for sort of 40 years or so. So I kind of feel like I've done that now. But either way, as I was looking through this channel, I realised a lot of the videos were kind of about my children's books, and it's obvious that I would want to market my children's books, but this isn't really the place to do it, is it? So I'm going to have somebody here. So I think that's the other thing, is to stop doing that. I've been really, really thinking a lot about, let me think, that's the fingers at the front, aren't they, like that? I've been thinking a lot about focus. I tell other people to focus, and what do? I don't focus. This is what I'm trying to do. So my website, shoerainer.com, has been a complete mess for some time, and it hasn't been operating properly. But I've solved the problem that I was having there. I'm very proud of that. I think I'm going to move this guy up a bit here. I think he's bald, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. So my website is running smoothly, like it hasn't done for a long time. And I'm actually enjoying doing my website again, which was something I'd stopped enjoying altogether. It had become a real pain. And so I've gone and looked at my website as well and thought, this is, This is not focused. This is about all sorts of things. It's about stories, it's about drawing, it's about drawing for adults, it's about drawing for kids, and it has no focus. So and I think because my website's been such a pain, I've not wanted to kind of start another website or anything. Oh, that should be more over there, shouldn't it? Like that, yeah. I've not wanted to start another website. You know, that's just a lot of hard work. I'm going to fold that a bit because I want to move this lady in to there. But then I just thought, no, let's do this. So I did once before start ShueRaynerDrawing.com, and because of things, it was just too complicated. But because my website wasn't working properly, one thing and another, it got too complicated. It was just too much to cope with. So I closed that down because it was too much effort and wasn't any fun, really, I suppose. This is a suitcase on wheels here. So yeah, so I've started up ShueRaynerDrawing.com, and you may know that I've had a Patreon page before and everything, and that never really worked for me. But things have sort of moved on, and so what I've done is I've set up this website, and I'm putting premium content on there, as they say, large images and sort of how to do pages. And I put my books, like there's the Golden Secrets of Drawing up there, and all my Draw Stuff Real Easy books, they're up online too. And you just click and they play as a flip book, so you can have the full screen flip book effect, which is rather attractive. This is a person here who is so excited by the roof that he's taking a photograph of it. I'm trying to think where the hands will be going, like that, and there'll be little fingers there, and then we want the sort of camera like that. So you can read the flip books and things like that, but it's also like Patreon. I've set it up as my own kind of Patreon, but what I am offering, it's all very complicated, and it all comes down to the tax laws, really. So what I'm offering is a library, and all the sort of gated paywall stuff is all pamphlets, leaflets, sort of print out, cutouts, how to do this, things like that, which I will be building up. And it's your way, if you want to support me, what I'm doing on this channel is just to come and help me out with a paid subscription, which is kind of the price of a pint of beer, basically, at the moment in this country. So if you want to buy it. Actually, I've stopped drinking. so maybe it's a coffee and a half or a coffee and cake, something like that. And that's what I'm doing. So I've been really looking at our tax laws here, and books and pamphlets and things like that are VAT free, value added tax. So it's our sales tax basically here, which gets really complicated with the European Union. So although we have Brexit, we are still mixed up in the European tax laws, which is really complicated. You have to sort of work out exactly where people are if they're paying for things online, which country they're in, and then you have to make a tax payment to that country. It's so complicated, but things have actually changed quite a lot. So for one thing, books and pamphlets and things like that are in this country are VAT exempt, even in a library. So because I'm asking you to join my online library, then it's books and pamphlets and things like that. So it's VAT exempt, because I really I really don't like that. You know, if you go on Patreon or something like that, then, you know, it says so much a month, and then bam, they can stick 20% on for for the tax. And I really kind of resent that. I don't suppose I resent the tax because it generally goes to good things. It's the way it just gets added on, value added tax. So it's in the name, isn't it? So here we go. So this should do, it's a bit of watercolor paper, and then what I need is to get my light pad out, which then means I can see through it, but you can't, can you? So I'm going to turn my overhead lights out, and oh, that's a lot better, isn't it? Yeah. So I get a little bit of sticky tape, just stick it down so it doesn't move about. I want this to be loose, but just not quite as loose as the drawing in the sketchbook. So trouble with doing a video like this is I completely forget what I was saying. Yeah, so I have started up this the Shoe Rainer drawing channel, the shoerainerdrawing.com website, and as I say, then yeah, it's kind of like my own personal private Patreon, and it's a start, and so I'm not going to promise anything other than that I'm going to sort of make things available as these sort of flipbook things and sort of extra images and stuff. So I'll sort of make this available as a sort of full screen size kind of image and that sort of thing, so you can look at it more carefully. I'll do a really nice scan of it. There'll be a link down below, of course, in the video description. And then with my shoerainer.com website, which has been going for years and years and years, I think it's going about 25 years or something now, I think, then that is going to be all about my legacy of children's books. Because I'm not sure I'm going to, well, I don't know, maybe I might write more. I'm not going to say never, but I kind of feel that part of my career is sort of over. And if I write anything, it's just going to be because I want to. And we'll have this camera she's taking the photo with. I'm not going to get people being confused, going, is this about drawing? Is this for kids? Is this, what is this? Oh,
someone is at the front door.
I say, it's my new trousers. Pants, you might call them. And so here we are.
Motion detected at the front door.
That's your Ring camera for you, isn't it? So, so I think he needs to be a bit more. Yeah, that's better. And then, oh, she was a bit gormless, wasn't she? Some people just don't really like having their photos taken, do they? And there was, I think, I mean, I can't remember. This was a long time ago, wasn't it? But I think from my drawing, the kind of body language that I got, she just sort of looks like she's not really into it. He said, go on, stand over there. I'm going to take a picture of you. And she's going, oh, I don't really want to. Oh, all right, because she knows that she's going to have to. He's, go on. People, relationships. Oh, she's quite a, what do we say? An hourglass figure, I think was the old-fashioned term. Yeah, there we go. And we give her some shoes with heels on like that, and then that'll be her top. So she's not looking too happy, is she, really? And then we have this sort of older lady here with more. She's just kind of standing around. That's what people do at railway stations, don't they? Standing around, impatient. When's the train? When are they going to call my train? Oh, another 2 hours to wait. Oh, golly. And so she's got some kind of a bag. And a little bit of a top there, coming down there like that. So this is very like the sketch, but just a bit more controlled, really, isn't it? A little bit more controlled. It's trying to be loose. I know that's something people say. How do you draw loose? I think you first of all have to loosen up. I think that's the really tricky part. When I was at art college, I'm sure I will probably have mentioned this before at some point. We had this wonderful guy who came to teach us in my third year, the last year, called Chris Core, who's an illustrator, artist. And I didn't get him at all when I first I didn't understand. I knew he was special. I knew there was something. I knew that he got it, but I didn't understand it. And sometimes I looked at his drawing and I went, "Huh?" But a kid could have done that. But a kid didn't do it. That's the whole point. And he has this sort of wonderful, naive style, bright colours he uses as well. And it's I don't know what it is. It's just letting go. It's kind of not assuming that a drawing must look like this. And at the same time, then we were. How are you holding a camera like that? Holding a camera with a camera, right? Yeah. At the same time, then, sort of Monday mornings, we'd all troop in and spend the day live drawing, and they'd get a lovely model for us to pose. And we'd all be drawing there. And as soon as you start doing that, you feel you've got to draw in this old-fashioned kind of classical way, and that's how you do life drawing. And of course, you don't have to do it like that at all. You can do it any way you like. There are no rules. But letting go, that's the tricky bit. It's not breaking rules, but because there aren't any rules, it's not breaking rules. It's leaving behind assumptions. It's leaving behind all that, but that's how we've always done it. But you don't always have to keep doing it. Yeah, Chris was like, I remember, yeah. He was very much into us coming out sketching, which I was not sure about that at all. I mean, I did sketch, I suppose, but not, I don't know, not freely, anyway. This guy's got balloons or something. I didn't. In fact, I think in those days, most of my sketchbooks were full of writing. I didn't even really do any sketching at all. And so he would take us out to places to go sketching, like the meat market, and see all these poor creatures all lined up for the slaughter. Yeah, we went to some interesting places. And then watching him just drawing, he was just enjoying himself. Drawing in a way that I thought, yeah, but that's kind of like, yeah, a kid could do that. That is probably the whole point. Yeah, it's drawing like a kid, that free, and just letting go. Kids don't. Well, there's a point when they do start comparing, but kids essentially they just get a piece of paper and a pencil, and they just start drawing, and they're not worried about style and what people think. They're just in the moment, enjoying themselves. And that's what Chris used to do. And I think that sort of slowly began to rub off, and I began to understand, like, and I think if you want to just draw more loosely, I think you just need to somehow go back to that childhoody kind of just drawing for the fun of it. And it doesn't mean that you're not thinking about it, and I think you need to. I think all things like perspective and everything, they all help, and I think the more exercises you do on perspective and those kinds of things, the more they become kind of muscle memory, and you don't really have to then think too hard about. I'm having to think hard about this. Then you don't have to think too hard about how am I doing that, because it comes naturally and you've sort of practiced. It's like, I mean, I've taken up the guitar again after years and years and years of kind of ignoring it. And this time I'm actually doing the practice, and I'm sort of trying to learn some of the theory, music theory and stuff, which is what all that, doing practice for perspective and things like that. It's like doing music theory and music. Once you understand, and I never did music theory, and I would always make these excuses. Oh, I can't, it's not for me. I don't understand. And if you actually take that little bit of time to really try and understand, then it does come. Sometimes you have to, read the book 50 times, but you get there. And then you play it on the guitar, and your fingers don't want to go in the right places. But if you do it every day, it does come. So it's a bit like that with drawing. I'm rambling a lot here, aren't I? It's very difficult to stick on subject when you're kind of moving on to different characters. So what have we got here? We've got somebody, they're on their phone, aren't they? They're kind of like that. And again, it's looking down. So being loose, that's right, that's what we're talking about. I don't think fingers, they'll be like that on the phone. And I think the more you sketch, particularly people, and you sketch them in their poses and attitudes as they're walking along and things, you just grab one little thing as they're moving along. You think, oh, all right, look at the way they do that. Look at the way that leg comes forward. And it doesn't matter that if that's the only thing that you get right in the drawing, in the sketch, you've got it. And if you understand it, and you don't just draw it and go, oh, I've got that. You draw it and you think, what did I do there? How did I get that? Then it all sort of comes together. I think I decided this person would be bald. So the next time you've got this sort of muscle memory in your hand, and you can just kind of do it. And you can be concentrating on something else and sort of practicing something else, because you've got that other bit now and you don't have to work so hard at it. And the more then you do it, it's like practicing those chords on the guitar or whatever. The more it just comes naturally. And so when you see a person, you think, oh, there's a little wiggle at the back of the knee there, you just do it without thinking, and it becomes that muscle memory thing that allows you to be loose. And it's letting go and not trying to be Michelangelo, not trying to do a style that it's really not suited to you. And there's a classic thing that happens with roughs, and I've heard it so often with editors, book editors, and they'll commission you to illustrate a book, and they know your style, and they say, I really like the way you illustrated this, and you go, oh, right, okay. And so you go home and you go off and do the roughs first, and the roughs, that's the exciting part. You think, oh yeah, we're going to do this in the illustration, and oh, I could do this, I could do that, and you're sort of drawing really fast, and and excitedly, because you're excited in the moment. And so you do these rough drawings and to lay out the book to show how it's all going to work and everything, and you take it to the editor and they go, oh, that's fantastic, lovely, really like that. And then you think, cool, I've got that sorted, and you go home and then you turn into professional illustrator mode and start tightening up. I don't know why it happens. Editors and people, they always want to look at roughs and sketches and things because that's the more exciting bit. That's where the life is. And so often, illustrators, once they got the commission and all the approval from the sketches, that's when they tighten up and stop being themselves. And it's really, 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 really difficult to go from that stage of roughs to finished artwork where you are keeping the life that's in the roughs and keeping that life in the finished drawings. And sometimes I think maybe the thing is just you've got to do the drawing quite a few times. I think Quentin Blake is a bit like that. And, he doesn't just, right, I'm doing my final illustration now. He'll sort of work on it and it's not quite right. And maybe not in the bin, but in the pile. Oh, which way is this going? Oh, all right, okay. So, yes, it's relaxing into it, which is so easy to say and so difficult to do. Let's do one more in there like that. Now it's time to paint. I've got this taped to a board. I'm going to zoom in a bit like that. And I'm going to be using my Pentel Aquash brush. And this might be another thing that you might find liberating. So the thing about this is that you've not, let me just drop little bits of colour in there like that. You're not worrying about what brush you're going to get. Should I use this brush? Should I use that brush? You're just using the one brush for everything. And this is the Pentel Aquash brush, and this is the broad nib. And you can get other brushes. But I just like this, and I use this for everything. I might have the flat one and the thinner one somewhere, but I don't feel the need to use them. This is the only Pentel brush that I use, and so I think if you use one brush like this, then you really get to know it well. It kind of frees you up. Yeah, it's part of this feeling free kind of thing. I think you can go back to this being a kid thing again. Let's do that. I've got this little. Kids generally aren't worrying about, should I use this brush? Should I use that brush? They might be worrying about, the colours that they're going to use if they've got a great big set of coloured pencils or something like that. Oh, these are going to be feet down there. But generally, kids pick up what's there and they just start drawing with it. And I think, it's about getting rid of hang-ups, isn't it? Easier said than done. Here we are. We can have that person there. And I'm going to add a little bit of... Oh, that's not what I expected at all. A little bit of yellow in. So I'm using my basic kind of colour here is for faces and things is Naples yellow. And if you've watched a lot of my watercolour videos before, you'll know that's kind of my go-to colour for a lot of skin tones. So I'm adding a little bit more yellow in this one, and I'm just picking up with some ochre to shade like that there. And yes, I'm doing, this is kind of batch batch processing, isn't it? So I'm doing all the skin tones first, which I wouldn't have done at the time because I was painting that. Well, no, actually, no. When I was how did I draw this originally? I don't think I did paint it live. Actually, now I think about it, which is why it's got a sort of greeny blue kind of colour to the ground, because that's the light coming through these great big windows up above. So it's kind of got that sort of green glass effect to it. I don't think I'd have been painting them individually. I'd have drawn one or two of them and then maybe painted them and then drawn a couple more. I don't know. It's as I saw people, really. So I just kept watching and looking and thinking, oh, that's an interesting person. Because most people are not that interesting. Most people just walk by and they don't grab you. So there's something about these people that interested me. And here, look, I'm not spending a lot of time thinking about how I'm painting this. So I'm going to add a little bit of shade. So this is my go-to neutral tint here. You can use Davies grey, Payne's grey, that kind of thing. Have we got any more greys? I think we'll have a little bit of shade in there as well, bit maybe around there. This lady's bag. So yeah, I'm sort of very much doing kind of batch painting, aren't I? Sort of doing the colours. And I'm going to want a bit of sort of darky. I wanted a kind of olive there, but it didn't quite come off. If I add a bit of, yeah, that kind of does a bit of something to it. There's quite a lot going on here. It's not the busiest picture in the world, but there's still quite a lot going on, and trying to get everything in. Do a bit of pink. So she's got this sort of pink top on there, and this person had a pink top too. I haven't done their legs. Oh, and a pink suitcase. Yeah. This person had a pink top. And I think when I choose these people, when I'm looking, and it's something maybe about what they're wearing, it's about what they're doing, I think, really, and this kind of motion that they're in, or it's the motion, or it's the pose that they're in, or they just kind of have something that marks them out, which I find interesting, and other people walk by and they just aren't. That's cruel, isn't it, really? But it's true. And this person's got a very yellowy kind of outfit on as well, so I'm going to have a bit of yellow and mixing in a bit of ochre in there as well, so just give him this. See, I don't really think I need to do much more than that. Maybe I'll add a bit of shade in a moment. I can give him something like... And then his backpack. I'll just do that to start with. This person has a sort of blue t-shirt. Oh, they can have blue matching shoes as well, can't they? This person has sort of pinky trousers and a kind of a yellowy shirt. And I know I've said many times, and when I repeat myself, I think, you're thinking, there he goes again. I don't think you can repeat yourself too many times. Things I'm going through at the moment, and I think, but I've read this before, but I've not understood that before. So the thing about watercolor is it's not really painting. You're not applying paint, you're applying light, you're applying coloured light. So the light is in the paper and it's reflecting back at you, and when you paint in watercolor, you're painting on these thin layers of colour, and it's transparent, so it's sort of like, this is cellophane stuff, you know, you can see through it. And it's just like applying lots of layers of, in the old days when you used to get cellophane wrappers on sweets or candy, you know. It's all shiny metallic stuff now, isn't it? But you used to be able to sort of look through it and see the world in yellow or red or whatever. And that's what you're doing with watercolour. So if you slap it on thick, you're losing the beauty of watercolour, the essence, the simplicity of it. And again, I think you can get too hung up about watercolour, and again, it's sort of treating it like a kid. Although children tend to do watercolour in a very different way, they do tend to splash it on thick. But if it's about light, and we're not trying to have bright colours. If you want to have a really bright colour in there, you do that right at the end, and just sort of add something in right at the end. So I want this hair to be quite dark, but this is neutral tint, which is a dark tint anyway. And then we'll have that hair down there. And she's got kind of grey leggings in there as well, like that. Probably matching shoes. She's a grey person altogether. She doesn't really want to be there, does she? She's not happy. So I'm just adding a little bit of sort of grey shade into the pink there. Meanwhile, her boyfriend's having a lovely time. Yeah, he said, just pose. Yeah, just do that. Yeah, you're looking great, honey. And she's not having her best day. Maybe they're on vacation from England and she's got jet lag. They only got there the night before. And her boyfriend's still buzzing. He'll crash eventually. And she'll go, oh, thank goodness, no, I can get some sleep. They've arrived at JFK or something, and they've got the subway in or something and he's gone, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, let's do it now. Don't want to miss a moment. So they've gone zooming into everywhere. He's one of those people. You know who I mean. Crash and burn, crash and burn. So I want a little bit of brown in this one, I think. What's the time coming up? Yeah. So you want some stripes in there. Like that. Let's have some brown hair for a change. Yeah, like that. That would be good. We can have some brown hair there too. Getting some sort of grey pants. We do wear some pretty dull clothes, don't we? Yeah. We don't generally wear bright clothes. And I think somebody comes along wearing really bright clothes, we kind of feel a bit suspicious about them. What's that all about? Let's put a little bit of shade in there. Oh, I don't think I really wanted to do that, but I'll just clean the brush. If you've not seen these brushes before, the water's in the handle and it flows through the brush. So it's very different to a normal brush. So we want to be quite pale here, so quite pale grey hair, like that. That's good, yeah. And these people were kind of blue tops as well, like that. And I shall give him some blue trousers down below. I'm just going to throw a bit of green in there, I think, like that, just to make it a bit different. And then she'll have grey trousers or something like that. Trousers, pants. Yes, my order came. I have new trousers. I'm wearing them. I tried them on. I thought, I'm going to keep wearing these. In the shop. You do it with shoes, I think, don't you? You try a new pair of shoes. I think I'll wear these out because you just like them. But I tend to do that less with clothes. I don't think you say, "Oh, I really like these. I really like this T-shirt. I'm going to wear it out." That's not something we generally do, I don't think. Anyway, yes, I'm wearing my new trousers, which are navy blue cargo pants, in case you're really interested. And I bought 2 pairs because you got an extraordinary discount if you bought 2. And one of them, the one I'm wearing, is all elasticated. It's got a nice stretch material. So I'm feeling very, very relaxed, which is probably what you need to be when you're doing a relaxed kind of a drawing painting like this. Yeah, I wonder whether this guy's got this kind of yellow top on. It looks a bit like a worker's kind of tabard thing, doesn't it, really? I wonder whether, I can't remember, whether he was a worker of some description. Oh, there's a green, and I wonder if that's, oh, I'm going to make that a green. I'm going to make this one more green, like it's a stop-go signy kind of thing that he's setting up. I don't know. Because there was a lot of work going on at the time, building the place. So there were all sort of, workmen wandering around with their tools and whatever. So he could have been a stop-go guy or something like that. Then we're going to have this kind of hair. And this person's very boring. So, oh, that's very too dark. So the thing about this brush here is that if you want to clean it, you just slightly squeeze it and dab it against your kitchen towel, and that will clean the brush. So you're then, let's have dark trousers down below here. So you're then ready to pick up a different colour. So it's dip dab clean, and then going to a kind of a muddy blue for the top, like that. And I think what we could do is actually have a bit of sort of brighter colour in there. I'm thinking Britain, Costa coffee, but of course you don't get that in New York. There might be, you might get somewhere that does Costa coffee, but it's quite a British thing. There's this camera, and then we still got these shoes, which I'm just gonna, I think I'm pretty much there now. So now it's going to be this kind of bluey green. I've got to clean my palette, swish a load of water in there. You can see it's rather dirty water, so I'll clean the brush. So I'm squeezing to get some water out onto the palette. And we're going to want a kind of a bluey green with a little bit of dirt in it, like that. And I'm just going to kind of swoosh it around. Swoosh is a word. Where does that come from? I think swoosh is something to do with, using 2 fingers to open up an app on a phone or something, isn't it? Is that swooshing? When you got a picture on your phone and you open it up to make it bigger, unpinching. Is that swooshing? Or is it just something to do with Nike shoes? I don't know. I'm sure it's hit the dictionary by now, the word swoosh. It sounds like it should have done. So again, look, I'm not trying to, this is where kids would be worried about, oh, I've gone over the lines. But you have to go beyond that again. And then I'm going to get some, this is my neutral tint. And this is where I'm going to start now. Just because it's wet, I can wash these sort of shadows in here, these people, and get them all sort of facing in the same way, like that. And we're getting these nice sort of liquid sort of shadows. So I need to get this scanned and then do a little bit of type on the front, and we'll be ready to put it on my website and my YouTube channel header. So here you are. This is the artwork I've done for my channel header on YouTube, and this is the bit for the website, which I've added a paintbrush and a pencil just to make it more interesting. Thanks for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the Shoe Rain and Drawing channel. Go and have a look at my website, and in the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye. Bye bye.